Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Henley Town Council Full Council meeting. This is the last one of the cycle for the year on Tuesday, the 27th of April, 2021. First item on the agenda is the apologies for absence. Which do you have any, town clerk? I don't.
No, I believe we're complete this evening.
Okay. Item 2, declaration of interest. Any pecuniary interest? Does anybody have any declarations that have not been given before on items going through the council? I see none. Okay, thank you. Item 3, public participation. This is a chance for residents or non-residents to come and ask questions or make statements to the town council. I believe we have one person, town clerk.
Yes, indeed. We have Jeff Luckett from the Henley Society.
Welcome, Jeff, if we can see you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you say, I'm Jeff Luckett, Lime Court, Harpston Road.
You know the format, you have 10 seconds.
Oh, is that all? Speaking on behalf of the Henley Society, I requested a slot to speak in public participation tonight, but I think events have overtaken me. Noting that the matter of the Friday Street slipway was in confidential, and that progress in getting a resolution was slow, I was going to request that you adopted a more robust stance in your pursuit of Sorbonne. However, having read my Henley Herald tonight, I can change my request to a vote of thanks for a job well done to you all. Thank you.
Yeah, it's Jeff. Where's he gone? You know what it's like. It's so frustrating. You know, you have to go through procedure. A lot of us wouldn't wish to, but I think we had to. We met with Michael Shanley, 2 months ago now. I was checking today on the 22nd of February. Very polite, and you know, a lot of us have been frustrated. There's another 2 months gone by, but let's say you've read the press statement today, and hopefully the concrete will be gone in a few days. We'll leave it to Sheridan to obviously contact Sorbonne tomorrow, and hopefully we can get a date for them to remove the concrete and the sandbags. So hopefully within 7 to 10 days it will all be gone.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
I've got nothing else to add other than that, Jeff.
No, thank you very much indeed. I shall stop my video.
If you wish to stay at the meeting, you can do. Just turn it off. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Okay, thanks very much. With nobody else, town clerk? No. Okay. We'll move on to item 4, minutes of the meeting of the full council of the 23rd of March 2021. I have a proposal to accept those as read. Councillor Gavashak, seconded by Loads, Councillor Plant. Okay, all in favour of those? Thank you, that's carried. Item 5, reports of committees. Could I just ask the town clerk to explain the minutes of the planning committee of the 20th of April and the finance of the 20th of April? They are basically only notes only. Could you just explain to the public out there, town clerk, exactly why they are notes for those 2 meetings rather than correct minutes? Thank you.
Thank you. Agendas are usually issued around about a week in advance. This is to give plenty of time for councillors to receive and read their papers ahead of the meeting so they can make informed decisions. By law, the agenda needs to be issued with 3 clear days. And those clear days exclude Sundays, bank holidays, and days put aside for public mourning. unfortunately, due to the sad death of the Duke of Edinburgh, the agendas for the Planning and Finance Strategy and Management Committee meetings of the 20th of April weren't able to be issued with enough clear days because of the week of public mourning for his death. Therefore, they weren't formally convened meetings, and therefore the committees weren't able to make any binding decisions on the council. And therefore, any decisions that were made are simply recommendations for full council to approve.
Okay, thank you, Town Clerk. Right, with that said, I'd call on Councillor Michelle Thomas, Chairman of Planning, to move the minutes of the 16th of March 2021, which is on pages 9 to 15 of your agenda. Councillor Thomas.
Many thanks. I hereby present the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held on Tuesday the 16th of March. Item 232, apologies for absence. 233, declarations of interest. 234, minutes. 235, public participation. 236, plans amended. 237, plans new. Moving to page 13. 238, objections, call-in applications. And over the page, 240, withdrawn planning applications. 241, Town and Country Planning Act 1990, appeal against refusal. 242, Climate Emergency 2030 Working Group. 243, Neighbourhood Plan Committee. 244, Community Land Trust. 245, Government Consultation, Changes to National Planning Policy Framework and National Model Design Codes. 246, Oxfordshire County Council Consultation, Local Transport and Connectivity Plan. 247, Tree Preservation Order. 248, Progress Report for applications called in. 249, Progress Report. I do so move.
Okay, thank you. All in favour of those? Thank you, it's carried. Call on Councillor Thomas again to move the minutes of the Planning Committee of the 30th of March 2021, which is on page 16 to 20 of your agenda. Councillor Thomas.
Many thanks. I hereby present the minutes of the Planning Committee held on Tuesday the 30th of March. 250, apologies for absence. 251, declarations of interest. 252, minutes. 253, public participation. 254, plans amended. 255, plans new. I'm moving to page 19. 256, objections, call-in applications. 257, decision notices. 258, Town and Country Planning Act 1990, appeal against refusal. 259, Climate Emergency 2030 Working Group. 260, restoration of bollards. 261, Thames Farm Development. 262, progress report for applications called in. And 263, progress reports. I do so move.
Okay, thank you. All in favour? It's carried again. Thank you. And finally, on the planning, I'll call on Councillor Thomas to move the notes from the meeting of the 20th of April 2021, which is on page 21 to 25. Councillor Thomas.
Thank you. I hereby present the notes of the informal meeting of the Planning Committee held on Tuesday the 20th of April. 264, apologies for absence. 265, declarations of interest. 266, minutes. 267, public participation. 268, listed building consent application responses. 269, plans amended. 270, plans new. 271, objections, call-in applications. 272, decision notices. 273, withdrawn planning applications. 274, permitted development application. 275, progress report for applications called in. And 276, progress reports. I do so move.
Okay, thank you. All in favour of those? Right, thank you. Little item 2, there was no meeting over that cycle from the Town and community. So unfortunately, Councillor Miller won't be speaking to anything. So we'll move on to little 3, which is the minutes from the recreation and amenities from the 6th of April 2021, page 27 to 29. I call on Councillor Kelly Hinton, please. We can't hear you, Councillor Hinton.
I'll take my earphone out and microphone. Is it better?
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, I'll start from the beginning. 88, apologies for absence. 89, declarations of interest. 90, public participation. 91, minutes. 92, progress. 93, finances. 94, licenses update. 95, no mo may. 96, Marsh Meadows steps into the river. 97, parks and open spaces. 98, trees. 99, cemetery warden. And 100, exclusion of the public and press. 101, Red Lion Lawn. I so move.
Okay, thank you. All in favour of those? Okay, thank you, Councillor Hinton. And the final minutes are from the Finance and Strategy Management of the 20th of April as well, within notes actually. And I call on Councillor Ian Reisman, and those notes are on page 31 to 32. Councillor Reisman.
I'd like to present the notes of the informal meeting of the Finance Strategy and Management Committee meeting held on the 20th of April 2021. Item 100, apologies for absence. Item 101, declarations of interest. 102, public participation. 103, minutes. 104, finances. 105, expenditure. 106, River and Rowing Museum. The recommendation here is that a grant of £20,000 is over 3 years is awarded. Now, when we originally considered this grant in December 2020, when we were also considering our budget, we actually decided to set aside £15,000 per year over 3 years, including for the budget that's now effective. So I'd like to amend that so that it goes back to our original intention, which was to award £15,000 over 3 years. So I propose that amendment. Do I have a second for that?
Councillor Lambert, I think we should, myself and you should probably withdraw from this, as we are trustees of the River and Rowing Museum, if that's okay. Okay, thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion by Councillor Reisman? Councillor Crook. Would you like to speak, Councillor Crook, or not? No, okay, fine. Would anybody like to speak to that? Councillor Hamilton.
No.
We had a recommendation for 20,000, which tonight has been changed to 15,000, and I understand the importance of this grant. I met with the River and Rowing Museum with Councillor Reisman and another councillor, I can't remember exactly who it was some time ago, and they really are working very hard to do an awful lot, and it's a very important institution in the centre of Henley. It's Henley's museum, etc. I will support the motion and the amendment to 15,000 because I think it's very important that we continue to support it. I've just asked that if the trustees could give us an update on a more regular basis than once a year. We always have a point in outside bodies where trustees could give us a view, and I think it's important to see how we progress and how the money is used going forward, but I'm supportive of the amendment.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? We'll take a vote on that one now before we take the rest of the minutes. All in favour of the amendment to 15,000? Okay, that's carried. We'll carry on, and Councillor Reisman, please.
Item 107, cemetery warden. Item 108, parking enforcement. Item 109, exclusion of public and press. Item 110, 353, 357 Reading Road. Item 111, Friday Street slipway. And we already heard the update on this item, which has which is the excellent news that Sorbonne have agreed that the concrete is to be removed and the slipway restored to its original state. And there'll be more actions will need to take place between discussions between the town clerk and Sorbonne, but the principle has now been established, and we hope, as the mayor just said a few minutes ago, we hope to see in a few days that slipway restored to as it was. That's very good news.
Okay, all in favour of those minutes?
Hold on, I'm finished.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry about that.
Item 112, legal update. I so move.
All in favour of those? That's carried. Thank you. Right, let's move on to item 6, reports of other authorities. In discussion with myself and the town clerk, with the county council elections coming up next week, I believe, on the 6th of May, it was felt that those reports, if they did go in, could contravene PERDA. So we've decided not to put reports in this week. I'm prepared to accept the motion by Councillor Hamilton, but if any time I think you're straying into PERDA, Councillor Hamilton, I will stop you. I'll take the town clerk's advice, and hopefully it won't happen. And then if it does happen, I shall refer the item back to the next full council meeting once the elections are over. So I will read the motion out. The motion from Councillor Hamilton is that the council resolved to rescind the requirement for questions to district and county councillors to be submitted at least 24 hours before the meeting. Do you wish to propose that, Councillor Hamilton?
Yeah, I'll propose that and I'll speak to it if I may.
Okay, let me just get you a seconder for that. I thought so, Councillor Aggleton. Thank you. Right, so I've got a proposal and a second, and off you go, Councillor Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm pleased we've put this motion finally on this full council. The purpose of this motion is really to be democratic and to be fair and to be open and honest. We have 16 councillors around this table, and I believe it's right, and I think a number of other councillors think it's right, that we should be able to ask a question of any councillor as to what's going on at the district council or what's going on at the county council. And we read reports, and the councillors, I should caveat this by the councillors concerned, the district councillors and the county councillors are invited to this meeting to make a report, and that's absolutely right. They should make a report. They are accountable, and obviously they are doing their role. And it's important that this council gets a really good update from what's happening at district and what's happening at county. For example, what's happening with the local plan or whatever it might be. So the purpose of this is really to allow us to ask questions, which is absolutely right. It is in no way trying to humiliate those councillors or put them on the spot. In previous times, and I've been a councillor nearly 10 years, as a number of other councillors about to turn, as it were, we've had a number of questions, and those questions have been answered. And if an answer is not forthcoming because it's about something that councillor doesn't know about, of course, they can answer it with an email, which is quite sensible. And Councillor Gavashat has come back in previous times with answers to questions I put to him by email. And that's absolutely right. So it's not a case of putting the councillor on the spot in any motion, any case. What it is allowing is for Councillor Eggleton, at the last full council, he wanted to ask a question, he couldn't. And the meeting before that, Councillor Ian Clark wanted to ask a question and he couldn't. The meeting before that, actually, Councillor Gavashat's reports, they came on the day of the meeting because they were up to date, and that was the day after January. So on that basis, I feel that this will allow us to ask questions, and I think everyone should support it.
Okay, thank you. Who would speak next? Do you want to speak next, Councillor Eggleton? You were the seconder. You're muted.
As you know, Mr. Mayor, I've asked this question many times. I don't think it puts anybody on the spot. It just makes everything more durable. Sometimes, if you, for argument's sake, if you haven't had a chance to go through your agenda or something like that, or read those notes, and in some cases, you know, it's just giving that option. You're not putting anybody on the spot, because if a councillor can't answer the question, it's simple. You just say you get back to them. So it's not going to hinder anybody. It just makes everything open and flows freely.
Okay, thank you. Let me just. I don't think we need to get into a big debate on this. Let me just respond to this. I've been on town and district councils a number of years now. The reason for the 24 hours is quite simple. You know, you get your agendas, you know, 5 or 6 days, or 4 or 5 days before the meeting. So you see the reports that are coming forward. You can even ask a question which is probably not even on that report, the county council, the district, if you so wish. So you've got 3 or 4 days to put forward a question. But I think you should consider that, you know, the idea of it is that we can get you an answer. That we can get you an answer within a day or a couple of days. We may have to get in touch with SODC or OCC. So we have an answer for you on the day of the council meeting, rather than, as you just said, Councillor Hamilton and Councillor Eggleton, we then have to go and find out the answer to the question, and then we either start sending you letters or we start emailing you. And to me, that is an absolute waste of time. Just for reference, SODC, you have to put questions in at a minimum of 7 days before a full council meeting, 7 days before a full council meeting. So 24 hours, in my view, is not asking too much. And it's definitely not to stop the questions being asked. You know, by all means, you know, ask the questions and we will find you the answers. If the answers are, no, Councillor Eggleton, you've spoken, I'm sorry. We will ask you, we will answer the questions for you. So there's nothing to say we're not going to answer the questions. We're more than prepared to do that. But just give us 24 hours and we'll find the answer for you. So, right, that's my view. Anybody else wish to speak on this? Councillor Hillier.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to ask, if say the answer comes back and it's not, and it's something that you think, actually, I just want a bit more than that. It sort of, as it stands at the present, it stops you from doing that. Is there any way that we could relax that a little? That yes, we put that in early, we get the answer back, and then at the meeting can say, well, you know, it might throw up something else. Would you allow a bit of talk on that?
That's a possibility, but it's not in this motion.
No, I realise,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so
I hear where you're coming from,
Yeah.
Councillor Hillier.
Yeah.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Yes, please, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Hinton.
Just to add as well, it's really more efficient this way around. To me, this proposal is completely nonsensical, because if you just wanted to have a question answered privately to you via email, we can do that in the 6 weeks in between the meetings. The idea of asking in this public platform is it then becomes part of the minutes. It's for people who attend our council meetings or most recently have watched online. If we're giving you the answer by email afterwards because you want to have the question there and then because you haven't prepared by reading your agenda, or you haven't thought of the question until you're on the spot, it's just really silly to me. I think it's all just nonsense.
Okay, thank you for that. Right, Councillor Hamilton, if you'd like to sum up.
Yeah, I just think it's for the previous 10 years, we've done it, we can ask questions. And the person who wishes to ask the questions, ask the question without the mayor reading it out. I don't see why that is the case. I think the way forward is to, so I'm getting really bad mute, can you hear me?
Has somebody got a radio on somewhere? Okay, off you go again.
Sorry. I hear what you say, but I think for the last 10 years, we've done it whereby you can ask questions. And I think it's important, and Councillor Hillier makes a very good point, that not only should you be able to ask questions, but you should be able to ask supplementary questions as well. It's open, it's fair. I'm not trying to put councillors on the spot. I'm just saying that this is a way in which councillors can be held to account, and they could be asked questions about something and they can give answers, or they can come back by email. And that allows everyone, all 16, who are all equal councillors, to be able to ask questions of the district council or the county council, regardless of who they are. And I think that's a fairer way, rather than the process that has been put in place in the last 2 years. Okay. I have spoken to the town clerk about it. It is not unconstitutional the way it's been put forward, but it is undemocratic. And I have spoken to previous town clerks as well, and they think it's undemocratic. So it's not a big thing. It's not, you know, if the motion doesn't go through, so be it. But I just think it's fairer and more open to allow councillors to put questions forward themselves.
Okay, thank you. Right, okay, we'll take I should be able to see the screen from here. We'll take a vote. All in favour of the motion? All in favour, put your hand up, please. 1, 2, 3, 3. All those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Abstentions? 2 abstentions. That's carried by 11-3 against 11 against 3-4 and 2 abstentions, so that fails. Okay, thank you for that. Item 7 on the agenda, a report of outside bodies. I had Councillor Lambert did ask if he could speak on bluebells, and I've allowed him to speak on that. Councillor Lambert.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that on May the 8th, Saturday, May the 8th, there's going to be a organised guided walk, a Bluebells for Bluebells walk that will go around. The route isn't quite planned yet, but it will go around some of the sort of best places around Henley to see bluebells. We'd like to hopefully establish that as an annual event, sort of raise awareness, maybe a bit of funding for bluebells. 2 days later, on Monday, May 10th, Bluebells finally reopens. For the first couple of weeks, we're going to limit it to existing guests just to let them settle back in. And then after that, I believe Suri intends to open it up for new guests. So sort of second half of May, it'll be fully open again for any new guests. And we do have places on both Mondays and Thursdays. There will be details of the walk on the website as well, and of course the opening dates as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on any outside bodies? No. Okay, thank you. Item 8 is the Mayor's civic engagements, which is on page 33. Still beginning to dwindle a wee bit. There are always pleasantries, believe me, in being mayor, and I have, well, two this evening. The first one is a big thank you from Henley Brownies, and they are thanking us. They basically say, "Dear Henley Mayor and councillors, thank you for our grant. It will mean we can enjoy lots of great brownie activities this summer." From Brown Owl, somebody called Michaela. So thank you, Michaela. It's absolutely brilliant. This is signed by all the brownies. Thank you. So thank you to all the councillors. Well done. Thank you. And the other one, I wrote to the Queen, and I've got a reply from Susie Lethbridge, MVO, the Duke of Edinburgh's office, and it's just got, "Dear Councillor Arlott, thank you very much for your letter and message of condolences following the announcement of the death of the Duke of Edinburgh at Windsor Castle on Friday, the 9th of April. I have passed on your condolences to Her Majesty the Queen. We are immensely saddened this day has now arrived, but we have taken some consolation from the many warm tributes to Prince Philip, reflecting the broad span of His Royal Highness endeavours and interests both in this country and further afield. Thank you again for your kind thought in writing at this particular sad time. It is much appreciated. Yours sincerely, Susie Lestbridge. So I thought that was very pleasant of a reply from Windsor. Thank you.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah. So yes, I've got nothing else really to add to my report. That's all. Councillor Riceman.
Before we move on from the Mayor's report, I'd like to note that the annual meeting of the Town Council is on the 17th of May, and Councillor Arlott on that date is going to be standing down as Mayor, which he's done for the last 2 years. And therefore, this is his last meeting as Chair of Full Council and as Mayor, unless he squeezes in a special Full Council between now and the 17th. Now, being Mayor has few statutory responsibilities, but chairing Full Council is one of them. It's quite high profile, it's very visible, particularly as we're now online. Those of us who sat in that chair, actually not that real chair, because that's in Ken's office rather than the council chamber, but we know that chairing Full Council is not as easy as Ken's made it look. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Councillor Arlott for the way he's chaired Full Council over the last 2 years. By ensuring that he's prepared and briefed, as well as being firm and fair, he's guided us through these difficult times. I'm sure he wasn't expecting this sort of year when he took on the role. He's helped us to make good decisions and support the town and the residents. And so I'd like to say thanks, Ken, for your chairmanship and your leadership in Full Council and generally as well. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Ian. Yeah. No, I to be honest, when I took this on for a second year, I did imagine that it may be 6 months of COVID, but I don't think anybody ever thought we would be sitting in front of a camera a year later. It's pretty frustrating sitting here on your own, believe me. I could ask the Mayoress to come in, I suppose, and help me along, but I just hopefully the next Full Council meeting will be back in the council chamber. I think that is more, dare I say, professional there, and it looks so much better. But I'd just like to thank everybody. It's obviously it's just as frustrating for you as it is for me. So thank you all for your support, and hopefully you'll give to support for the next incoming mayor on May the 17th. So thank you very much for all your support from everybody. Thank you. Item 9 is the Mill Meadows Adventure Golf. I'm going to ask the town clerk to speak to this first, and then I'm going to call on Councillor Gavashak as the chairman of the group, and we'll just take it from there. So town clerk first, Sheridan.
Thank you very much. So in your pack, you'll have obviously quite a lot of papers on this. You've got the full business case, and that it also includes the proposed designs for the course, the specifications and costings for the course at Mill Meadows. I don't intend to go through it in absolute detail because there is a lot of information there. However, I'd just like to highlight some key points about what we're trying to achieve here. So the proposal is for an 18-hole adventure golf course that complements the green flag surroundings at Mill Meadows. It's intended as a historical and cultural tour featuring many of the town's landmarks, including a miniature River Thames, and in a setting that mimics the natural surrounds in Mill Meadows and in the Chilterns and around the river. The main aim of the project is to maximise the public value that we get from our council's assets. And that's not just financial value, but more importantly, that's the social value to the local community. To that end, it should provide a fully accessible attraction, which is suitable for all ages and abilities. It should help draw visitors to the town, to support businesses and the visitor economy. It should provide another affordable amenity for the local community to enjoy. It celebrates the town's beauty and heritage, and it also provides, or it should provide, a significant financial return to help support and enhance other community services and facilities. Turning to the finances, the financial projections that are there in the business case have been conservatively estimated. And this was done by triangulating figures from those projections put forward by people who tendered for the golf course build, other local authority run adventure golf courses around the country in lots of different settings, and projections of nearby commercial operators of adventure golf courses as well. And you'll see from those financial projections that there is a large safety net in there. That basically a break even for the project would be about 50% of the projected footfall. The course, our preferred contractor for the build of the course is a market leader in the industry. They have an excellent reputation for building high quality, durable and really exciting courses. And one image that isn't included in the pack, but if I may, I'd just like to kind of quickly share with you to try and give you a visual representation of what it would look like. So hopefully you can see. This. This is an early. This is an early version, so it has changed as it's gone through the process. But this is roughly what it will look like. So there will be a kiosk, although it's going to mimic the look of a boathouse. And then you go through the various different courses with the landmarks along the way, with the Kenton, the theatre, the town hall, Chantry House, Friar Park, and various others. There will be information boards for all the different landmarks as well. There will be benches, places for people to sit. There will be bridges over a little mini Thames, and so Henley Bridge will be in there. You've got Temple Island. You'll also have Marshlock in there as well. So it will be. That's just a kind of a quick look at what it should look like. So it should be an immersive, exciting, and high quality course that we're looking at. We have in looking at the area, we have looked at a number of potential uses, but we're confident that this not only will complement the current use of Mill Meadows, but it provides best value for that asset. If it is approved this evening of full council, this won't be to approve the go-ahead for the build. It will simply be to say, yes, we're on the right course, and it would be subject to a public consultation that we would carry out throughout June, where the community will have the opportunity to look at it in details, to look at the proposals and provide their feedback. We can then take that on board and we can revisit our designs and our proposals to hopefully bring something back to full council at your July meeting, where hopefully, if obviously you're in favour, then we could give the go-ahead to the build from there. Thank you.
That's excellent, Town Clerk. Can I just remind members, all we're voting on this evening, if you read under the item 9, is to receive a business case, designs and specifications on the proposed adventure golf course, to approve the project in principle and approve a period of public consultation. I'm going to call on Councillor Gavershak and I'll come to you, Councillor Plant, afterwards. Okay. Councillor Gavershak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I'd like to make the proposal that the Mayor has just read out, and when it's seconded, I believe Councillor Crook is going to second it, as she's the Vice Chair of the Putting Green. But I make the proposal and then I will speak.
Well, let me just get a second first. You're going to second, Councillor Crook? Okay, thank you. Well, off you go, Councillor Gavershak.
So the proposal is to receive the business case, designs and specifications on the proposed adventure golf course, to approve the project in principle and approve a period of public consultation. I mean, it has been said before, but I will say it again. This is not to approve the putting green or the adventure golf course. That will come back to a subsequent full council to approve the spend and also the final designs. The idea is to take this forward. So we go to a public consultation. So we ask the members of the public for ideas and advice on what they think about the proposal. And then we will listen, of course, we will tweak the design, and we will move forward. I will at this point actually say that I'm going to be very, very short in what I say because of the PERDA rules, so I will be very circumspect. But I will say a great thanks to Sheridan. Sheridan has done a phenomenal job of research on this, talking to lots of companies, talking to lots of local authorities to actually put the business case forward and to bring design ideas coming forward. I believe we've appointed an excellent company who've come out with an exciting design palette, which is really good. I will thank Donna as the vice chair of this group for working hard. I will also thank the members of the putting group who, or the adventure golf group, that actually we had wonderfully constructive meetings that were positive and going forward. I will ask members just to look at page 40. So it's page 41 of their agenda, to actually say that this is not only an exciting project, it is also a financially sound project. These figures that are projected in year 1, 50,000, year 2, 57, etc., etc. I'm sure you've all read your packs to do with this, is a conservative estimate of the income that we will generate from this particular exercise. So as Sheridan said, as well as it being socially great, drawing visitors in, it's actually a financially sound project. So therefore, I will just stop there and ask all councillors to vote for this when it is appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go to Councillor Plant first. So I did ask him first, and then I'll come to you, Councillor Cook, if you wish to speak. Councillor Plant.
Yeah, just say, I do think it's a great idea, as in Marlow, I think last weekend or the weekend before, they've actually got a very basic temporary kind of like putting course, as it were. And there is a queue of people to use it. And it was literally plastic trays laid on the grass with plastic clubs and balls, and people were queuing up to spend their money doing it. So I know there's a lot of skepticism about whether it will work or not, but I seriously think it will. I was only going to say that last time this got circulated on Facebook, there's plenty of residents who kind of had all sorts of, cynical and skeptical views on it. And I would just say that, as a town council, if we can, at least stay supportive, honest and open on our interactions on social media for it, I think it's going to be a genuinely good thing. So anyone trying, not us obviously, but any members of the public trying to say it's going to be windmills and crazy golf and stuff like that, let's just do our best to keep it on a positive track and create a brilliant revenue generating idea. And I think it's great. I was going to say, on a comedy factor, we could post that picture and say this is the actual River Thames, this is the bridge, and this is the layout, and just see if anyone falls for it. But that's what I do.
Yeah, I'm with you. Councillor Cook, did you wish to speak?
Yeah.
And then I'll come to you, Councillor Lambert, afterwards.
Yeah, this is a fantastic scheme and everything, and I'm really pleased at the design and everything. And thanks to Sheridan. And it's, yes, it is a lot of money that we're laying out, but we will get the revenue back. And it's also, I forgot what I was going to say. It has a great social value for people, because people do say, "Oh, there's nothing to do." We can't. This will be for families to do, for something for families to do, to come to Henley and we can increase the parking. We'll get more parking and revenue and stuff. And I do think it's a great asset, and I can't wait to see it finished.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Crook. Councillor Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I was certainly one of those who was sceptical from the outset, really. But I have to say, flicking through the designs now and seeing how they've evolved and the celebration of Henley that they are, I'm sort of falling in love with it. So I'd just like to thank everybody on the committee for not listening to people like me and pushing it forwards.
Councillor Hamilton, did you wish to speak?
Yeah, I'm delighted to see that something's happening with the putting green. I've always been a great fan of it. Well,
I've been told, can I just stop you there, Councillor Hamilton? I've been told your golf's not very good, but your putting's very good.
Well, my golf's a bit average, but my putting's all right. There we go. But I'm delighted to see that something's happening with the putting green. And I also would like to thank Sheridan for the hard work he's done. Whilst there's a group of councillors that have inputted on this, I too have inputted by sending my emails to Sheridan to suggest what might be good and what might work. I won't judge the jury. I'll let the consumer be the jury of this. I'm pleased to see it going out to consultation. And if 51% think it's right to spend this type of money on this fantastic facility, then that will be great. And let's see what the public want. Whatever, it is a great area, and I would like to see it used for more than what it's currently used for, because to be quite honest, there's probably only half a dozen people that currently go on the putting green in its current state. So it's a fantastic jewel in the Henley crown. Let's see where we get to. I'm delighted to see the design and the different aspects of the design with the Pinsent and the bridge and the river, etc., etc. Obviously, there'll be issues of security, and I'm sure the working group will work towards what is a best solution for that. I too question the ROI because we have to question the ROI, and we should be honest about the ROI. So I'm sure the town clerk will do all the scrutiny he needs to in terms of making sure that this breaks even in the right time. I did look in this report to see how much it would cost to use the putting green per person or per family. And with these figures, it is quite a lot of people. Now, if it attracts all those people, that's great. And it's great. The only thing I would say at this point, and I won't judge the jury, is can we keep it as a putting green? In other words, cut and manage this year until it is developed. So let's try and keep it in the best possible state as it currently is, with the park staff cutting it. Until we do a development, whatever the consultation says.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Miller.
Yeah, I'm going to be very, very brief, but I'm another one that just wants to thank Sheridan very much. This committee has actually been a real pleasure to sit on. It's been chaired incredibly well. The information that Sheridan has sourced has been very, very good, and it's just been lovely to sit on. It's been great to see the end result now. We're kind of nearly at the end result with the business. We've got a great business plan. The ideas for the actual putting green are fantastic. And looking ahead, really, it is going to bring visitors not only to Mill Meadows, but into Henley. It's going to bring tourists into Henley. People are going to spend money. They're going to bring families down to the putting green and then perhaps going to Henley for a spot of lunch or to have a coffee, to perhaps do some shopping. So to me, this is an absolute win-win, and I'm looking forward to the next year or so if and when we can see it all up.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak before I go back to Councillor Gavashak for a very quick sum up, please?
Can I just very briefly speak? Mr.
So I didn't see you, Councillor Weissman. You go on. Off we go.
As Chair of Finance, I shared some of Councillor Lambert's initial concerns that we were spending a lot of money on something that whose financial outlook wasn't as clear as it might be, and I'm really pleased to see that with the help of the town clerk's research and work, in putting together such a robust and realistic business case that the finances are now looking very promising. And I'm a big supporter of this scheme now, having started off from a slightly different point of view. And so, I've made up my mind. I'm not saying I've changed my mind, but I've certainly been convinced that this is not only a great asset and an amenity for the town. It's a financially advantageous move for the town. It's an investment, and we should be able to actually make money. And the issue of our deficit can perhaps even be improved by this project. So, as Councillor Miller said, it's definitely a win-win at the moment.
Okay. I don't see anybody else wish to speak, so I'll go back to Councillor Gavashak.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, you put me on notice that I will be brief, and I will. I would like to thank all councillors. Councillor Plant, thank you for your comments, and Councillor Crook as well. Councillor Crook mentioned that in fact we could get income into the winter period from the car parks as well as this. It was said by a lot of the putting companies that we won't need to advertise this because the word will go out on social media and people will flock to Henley to play this quality course. Councillor Lambert is falling in love with it. Well done. Councillor Hamilton, thank you for your comments. And yes, we've got to make sure that we have a good grip of the finances going forward. Councillor Miller, it has been a pleasure, just a pleasure. Sheridan's worked very, very hard, sitting with the putting green working group. It's been an absolute joy to work because we've all been positive behind it. And I would also just finally like to thank Greenspan, who are the company who've come up with these brilliant ideas going forward. And in conclusion, we are not making the decision on
Okay, Stefan, we've said all this twice now. Okay, we don't need to say that again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will stop.
Okay, thank you. Right, all in favour of the proposal that was written on your item 9, all in favour? I think that's unanimous. Thank you very much. And thanks for all the hard work everybody's put in. I haven't been to one of the meetings. Obviously, I read the minutes, and I was pretty sceptical as well until I talked to Sheridan the other day for 4 hours, and he taught me through it.
You'll have plenty of time soon to practice your putting.
Took 4 hours to persuade you.
So no, thanks for everybody that's been involved in that. It looks absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Right, that's all the on the open session this evening. So thank you anybody out there that's been tuning into us this evening. I appreciate that. We now move into confidential. So item 10, exclusion of the press and the public. To consider that the public and the press be excluded from the remainder of the meeting in accordance with the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, as publicity would be prejudicial to the public interest by reason of the confidential nature of the business. And I so move. Seconded, all in favour of that? That's carried. Okay, thank you all.